John Cena's final appearance, a surprise return from Brock Lesnar, a couple of decent matches, and a new face getting pushed in a mid-card title scene. Dare I say, this wasn't the worst Raw of all time. Welcome back, guys, to Fog at Wrestling. Normally going in to watch Monday Night Raw, Friday Night SmackDown, any show associated with WWE, hell, any show associated with wrestling. If there's a ring and it's four-sided, then you know you're going to get a shit show in 2025. Now, I'm not going to praise tonight's show because I don't think it was good. I don't think it was decent. I don't think it was any of that. But what I will say is, it was better than what we've been getting lately. Probably one of the better Raws of the year. Now, that's not exactly saying much because most Raws were given like a 1 out of 10, -1 or some bullshit like that. But, you know, this Raw had a couple of things that were enjoyable. Once again, we got some Cena stuff. We got a return for Brock Lesnar. We also got a return for Roman Reigns that I don't really care about. We had Maxine Dupree defeat Becky Lynch, which I thought was the correct decision as well. We had some celebrities that I actually recognise at ringside. You had some of the New York Giants there and Cam Scatterbo. I think he's the new rookie running back. So, you know, it wasn't okay, but it is better than the usual shit we get. I will say that. I'll stand by that. Anyway, WWE Raw, Madison Square Garden, Cena's last appearance. Let's get into this. So we kick off the show with John Cena. It's his last time on Raw. He says it's bittersweet. You know, he's taking in all the emotion. The crowd were going mental for Cena. Honestly, for a minute I thought they were back in Boston. The crowd were loving Cena all night long. Or, well, I say all night long, all segment. But what do you expect? Cena's a legend, and, you know, 99% of these guys on the roster are not. So obviously Cena's going to stand out. He then got interrupted with Dom and the Judgment Day. And Dominic Mysterio. First of all, Dominic came out. Cena was like, well, if you want some, come get some. If you want your title shot, then let's do it right now. I promised these people I'd wrestle on my final Raw. Cena's down, but Dominic's not. He doesn't want the match tonight. He wants it at Survivor Series in San Diego, his hometown. He wants the home field advantage. Cena's like, fine. We can do it your way. I don't care. But how about you step up to the plate tonight, try and make history, take me on in the ring. And Dom's like, nah, that's not going to happen. Then the rest of the Judgment Day come down, Finn Balor and the other guy, I forget his name, JT McDonough, that's the one. And Dominic says, we're not going to have a match, but we are going to beat your ass. So basically, Cena looks like he's going to get beaten up 3-on-1. Then we get the Celtic Warrior, Sheamus. He runs down, but of course the odds are still against them. It's 3-on-2 until none other than Rey Mysterio makes a save. Then it gets announced we're getting a 6-man tag match. I'm not quite sure who announced it. I just think the issue was, I think the challenge was issued, and then the face team just grabbed them and threw them in the ring. Then we got a match. I mean, it was all right. It was decent. We had, you know, some synchronized Sheamus chops, and then we had the Cena 5-knuckle shuffle as well. We didn't see a Cena 619, probably a good thing to be honest, and Cena beat JD McDonough in the middle of the ring. And I think we've just been missing this in Cena's last run, or just in general. The top stars never wrestle, and it's just refreshing to see Cena wrestle twice in a row, but it should have happened from the very get-go. His entire last year, we should have seen Cena whenever he was on shows wrestling. Do you remember when he was like in the feud going into Mania with Cody Rhodes? They just came out and talked every week and cut the same fucking promo. And then on SmackDown, Cena would just come out with the belt and talk about when he turned heel, talk about ruining wrestling, and literally nothing happened. It's like, no, back in the good old days, wrestlers, the main event guys wrestled every week. If they weren't going to wrestle, then no one would want to give a shit about the show. So we need to get back to doing that. It was cool seeing Cena wrestle the last couple of weeks. It's just a shame that this was his final Raw. But the match was alright. Cena wins. It is what it is. And Sheamus and Rey and Cena, they all celebrate at the end of the day. So they get a win. And then we get introduced to some shitty celebrity. I think he's a comedian. We've got the New York Giant players there as well. And they kind of get into like a shoving match with the Judgment Day. So I don't know if they're going to do anything with that, or maybe not, but yeah, it's going to be Dom versus Cena at Survivor Series, and I'm looking forward to that. Will Dom win? I think he's got a chance. Right, then we're supposed to get a Nikki Bella and Stephanie Fakir vignette, but we don't get it because Stephanie's coming out and Nikki Bella attacks her. from behind. So, well, actually, we did get the vignette, and then we're supposed to get the promo or whatever. Didn't happen though. Segment gets thrown out because Nikki just attacks Stephanie from behind, and then says, I need to remind myself of who I am, blah blah blah. The woman that slept with John Cena just so I could get a couple of titles. Basically, that's what she said. And that's it. Then she says, I'm Nikki Bella. I changed this entire industry. You will bow down to me. Get that? Comprende, mamacita? And it's just, just bullshit. Nikki Bella didn't change shit. She never did. And I think she gets too much hate, but trying to talk like she's the best thing ever is not gonna cut it. I get it though, she's the heel, so that's fine. It's heel stuff, but whatever. Then we get Bayley, Lyra, and the Kabuki Warriors. Asuka tries to get Bayley to join. Bayley basically says, nah, you kicked me out the group, you made my best friend turn on me. Asuka shouts Japanese at her, then walks off. Then Lyra wants a hug, and Bayley calls her an idiot, and they walk away. Who gives a shit? Then we got Solo Sikoa with Tala Tonga versus Dolph Ziggler. Right, okay, so the two TBAs were basically guys that used to work for WWE, but no longer work for WWE, and they work for other companies now under different names, trying to get their careers back on track, and then they throw it away just to come back to WWE for one night and get called Zack Ryder and Dolph Ziggler. Fuck Dolph Ziggler. I've no respect for this guy anymore. I'll make a separate video on it, but the guy leaves WWE, goes to TNA, changes his name, Nick Nemeth, trying to build this Nick Nemeth character, and then just for a one-night payday, he sells out. Now, people will say, well, he couldn't go back to WWE as Nick Nemeth. Of course he could. WWE, TNA, they've got a good working relationship. He could have turned up tonight as Nick Nemeth. Matt Cardona could have turned up on SmackDown as Matt Cardona instead of Dolph Ziggler. But both of these guys have sold it, because they're both pussies, and they've sold out because WWE wanted them to use their WWE names or WWE characters. This doesn't benefit these two. This only benefits WWE. Dolph Ziggler should want to get his Nick Nemeth character over on WWE. Same with Zack Ryder. He should want to get the Matt Cardona character over on WWE. He came out and says that Zack Ryder is dead, that Zack Ryder will never come back, and if he does return to WWE, it will only be as Matt Cardona. Then on SmackDown, he comes out as Zack Ryder. You just can't trust anything these guys say. Selling it for the money. And then Dolph gets jobbed out by Solo Sikoa. The match was your typical Dolph Ziggler match. He sold a couple of moves. It was alright, but the fucking Solo Sikoa sucks. And so disappointing that the two TBAs were, both guys have a bit of history with Cena, but, come on. That's it. And both of them lose, So it's not even like they make it into the second round. Like, what was the fucking point? You'd think, got a surprise entrant. Let's see how far they can get. Both of them get knocked out straight away, so dumb. Then we get Alexa Bliss comes out. Basically tries to guilt trip Charlotte into being her friend, into being in the team. Charlotte doesn't want to team up. You know what? It's like Charlotte doesn't want to team up with Rhea Ripley. Why are you forcing her to do so, Alexa Bliss? Honestly, what are you doing? No one gives a shit about this. Why can't she just go back to, have some guy walk in while she's like taking her fucking top off? That was the best segment we've ever seen from Alexa Bliss. We need more of that. Then the heel team come out. Nia Jax makes fun of Alexa Bliss's sparkly pants. It's like, why doesn't she just make fun of Nia Jax's belt line? There you go, boom. How about that? How's that for sparkles, fucking 46-inch waistline. How about that? But then Charlotte comes out after there's a brawl, and Io and Rhea came out to help, and then Charlotte makes a save. Now there's 4 women in the ring, and looks like she's helping, and Asuka was shouting baka 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 baka. I don't know if that means bitch or shut up, but it means one of them. I like Asuka, I think she's entertaining. Is what it is. Right, then we got Becky Lynch versus Maxine Dupree, Intercontinental Championship match. Just seemed like the odds were stacked against Becky. She's like feuding with the referee. Then she's got the match against Maxine, and then AJ Lee comes out like a surprise return. Where's she been since WrestlePalooza? Who knows and who cares? But she distracts Becky. Becky turns around, cross body from Maxine Dupree. 1, 2, 3. Maxine Dupree's the new Intercontinental Champion. The match was alright. I think this is a correct decision. I just think WWE overdo it. No, this could have been the second match in this rivalry, and that would have been fine. But they've had like fucking about half a dozen matches, and this like feud's been going on for like months. I mean, absolute months. It was like months and months ago where Becky refused the challenge from Natalya because she thought that Maxine was like an easy option. So again, just dragged out. I agree with the winner, but it just took way too long to get here. Then we seen some celebs at ringside. We got to see Chuck Cito, which was cool. Don't know how much money he was getting paid to sit at ringside and watch this shit, but congratulations to him. Then we got Gunther versus Siobhan Evans. I think Gunther's changed his music, so aye. Gunther with a new theme, or maybe it's his old theme, or it's like I wouldn't really say it's new, it's like just an edit or something. It's a little different version, but who gives a shit? Gunther beats Siobhan Evans because Siobhan Evans fucking sucks, but so does Gunther. Gunther makes him tap. We then got a Jackie Redmond backstage interview with AJ Lee and Maxine Dupree. Maxine celebrates with the two jobbers from Alpha Academy, and then AJ says that she might stick around because Becky Lynch really hurts her. She doesn't like bullies and all this bullshit. And then she makes a crazy face, and then Rhea appears, and Rhea asks AJ if she has a second to chat, and it's like so fucking boring, so predictable. Obviously, the final two members of this War Games match are going to be AJ Lee for the face team and Becky Lynch for the heel team. Then we got, what did we get? We got the Men Games War Games face-off. So basically, the heel team come out. Paul Heyman cuts a shite promo, just a boring generic promo like he always does. Then the face guys come out. Punk comes out. Punk comes out. Rhodes comes out. We get the Usos. I mean, why is Jimmy in this match? For fuck's sake. I don't even like Jay, but at least Jay got somewhat over. At least he created a catchphrase. At least he created an entrance. Jimmy's created nothing. Jimmy has created fucking tumbleweeds. That's the only reaction he gets. This guy is not good, but because Reigns is his cousin, and because his brother's actually doing okay for himself, Jimmy's just going to get pushed into these spots that he doesn't deserve. But that's how it works. So it's 4-on-4. They all start brawling. Then we get the return of Brock Lesnar, which is pretty cool. The Beast comes out, batters Punk, and you're thinking, right, this is cool, this is great. But then Roman Reigns' music hits, he comes out and he starts beating up Lesnar. I didn't like this. It just overshadowed Lesnar. And I get it. It's like the heel team needs to take the advantage, but the crowd were chanting for Reigns. The crowd weren't expecting Lesnar. I think it honestly would have been better if... Well, I would have just, and I get it, they want to have like the face team have the last laugh, I get that, but Brock, for me, he's the attraction here. I would have had the Vision get the upper hand and beat up the four members, beat up Rhodes, beat up Punk, and beat up the Usos, and then have Roman Reigns come down, and then have like Roman Reigns kind of even things up, even though it would be 4-on-1 because the other guys would beat down. I'd have Roman Reigns come in and try to level things up, and then have Brock be the last guy to come out. I get why they don't do that, because they want the face team to have like the last man so they get the pop, but it just made Brock's return get overshadowed, and I didn't like that. So yeah, then we had like refs and security and police, and then it's so boring, man. It's so phony. You get police, and then they still do the whole spear through the barricade spot. You're like, fuck me, come on, really? You're trying to give us something new. You're trying to make us believe that, holy shit, this brawl, this is so bad, this is so brutal, things are so out of control that we need to get the police involved. And then they do the phony spear through the barricade. Fuck that shit, come on. Ridiculous. Anyway, I thought this show was not bad. The police are trying to break this up, and you've got Punk just choking out fucking Logan Paul with a kendo stick. Speaking of Punk, I did see a trailer for a new movie that he's in coming out, and of course he plays like a corrupt white police officer, so I mean that's the only way CM Punk was ever going to play a member of law enforcement, if it could be a bad guy, because y'all know he isn't going to be putting over the men in blue. But anyway, why put over the men in red tonight? Not necessarily sure. I thought there was some okay moments. Alright, the returns at the end, right, it's cool, you're getting two big names, but I didn't like how Brock's return was overshadowed. I thought the opener was alright. I agree with Matt. I'll give Raw a 3 out of 10. I'll give Raw a 3 out. You also had like a promo during the break with Roxanne and Raquel. Raquel said they're the two biggest baddies on the roster, and that got a pop for the crowd. Yeah, I like the Latinas, so I'm not going to disagree with her. And then we got what did we get? We got like the Judgment, not the Judgment Day, the New Day. I mean, too many days here, too many days. 7 days in a week, yet fucking Raw's got about 20 teams with days in it. What's happening here? And then we got Grayson Waller like wearing a hometown sports shirt to get a bit of heat. Just your same old, just your generic heat shit. Or, I support the opposition team that beat your team. Whoa, boomy. Right, well, good for them. Anyway, guys, I'm not going to boo this Raw. It's a 3 out of 10. It's not a good rating, but what I will say is it's probably the best rating I've gave a Raw in a long-ass time. So, yeah, I'm giving it a 3 out of 10. Not the worst Raw. Still not good. Still not worth really praising. But there was some decent things. There was some okay things. Sad part is, though, that's the last time we see John Cena. So, yeah, that fucking sucks. But anyway, guys, that's it. No more John after this. And that's going to hurt the quality of Raw. You take John Cena. It's going to hurt the quality of WWE. You take John Cena out of this roster. And you are, it's like taking... It's like taking a heart, out of a human. It's a vital organ. Other guys, like Roman Reigns, they pretend that this guy's a big deal, but Roman Reigns is like losing a toe, You lose a toe, it's not a big deal. You've still got 4 on that foot. You've still got 9 out of 10. But you lose the heart and you're in trouble. You're probably going to fucking die. And that's what WWE's losing with John Cena. They're losing, their best guys. So, yeah, it sucks. But, this Raw wasn't that bad. 3 out of 10. Let me know what you guys think down below. I'll catch you in the next one. Leave a like, leave a comment. Might make a separate video bashing Ziggler and Matt Cardona because they really did piss me off with how they've jobbed out recently. I used to feel sorry for them, especially Ziggler, when that TNA relationship happened with WWE, and I thought, fuck, that's not really fair on him. He's tried to get away from there to, try and improve his career, grow his career, make a new name for himself, and then his company's teaming up with WWE Development, but then he just jobs out tonight, and it's like, well, fuck him. Anyway, guys, till next time, peace.